we are going to discuss about input and output. Remember in the few lectures before I said we should always use include stdio.h. Now here's the reason why. To output and input something, we have to use functions from here. Now I won't want to confuse you any further. Let's look at it like this. In this whole playlist, we're only going to talk about one kind of input, which is from the keyboard, and only one kind of output, which is from the monitor or screen. Now, how do we display stuff on the screen? We display it like this. I'll use red. Now we use printf, open bracket, close bracket, semicolon. Now essentially, what I've written here is a printing function, an output function that will put words that you write inside this box here onto your screen. Now let's say I would like to say hello world on the screen. I'll do it like this. Hello world. Anything that is inside these two will be shown as it is on the screen. Now let's say if I have a screen here, this is my monitor. First line up here, it will say hello world. This is how it will execute. So how about getting stuff from user? Scanf. Well, I'll talk more about that. Okay, let me write a simple program that we can analyze. Hash include stdio.h standard input output library header file. Next is int main function, open curly brace. Okay, now let's look for int x. Let's not assign a value to it. Now we're essentially creating a variable called x. It's an integer with no value inside. Printf. Hi, please enter a number. Okay, now you're telling the user to please enter a number. So next you would like to accept the number, right? So to accept it, you have to scan the keyboard. So scanf. These two are actually predefined. You cannot change the name of it. Scanf. Same thing. Scanf. Open bracket, close bracket, with these two on top and a semicolon. Now, we have two parts to write here. Sorry, I made a mistake. There, it should look something like this. Now we have to fill the blank in here. Okay, look, what are we taking in? We expect the user to enter a decimal, right? So we put this %d for decimal, and then where do we put it? We put it into x. Let me just erase this out. So scanf, open bracket, double inverted commas, %d means we're accepting an integer because we're expecting him to put in something. Then close, comma. Now the computer will ask, where do I put this value into? I put it into x. Remember, think of this n as a put. You take the value, you put it into x. So then let's printf. The number is, now I can't put x over here. If I were to put x over here, the output on the screen would just be x. It won't be the number, which is what the user input. So I have to take the number from a variable, right? And the number is an integer, so I put %d \n. I'll explain more on that later. And we close this, and next a comma. Now where are we taking this thing from, this value? We're taking it from x. We don't need this, the and sign, because this is part of the syntax. Just remember it as only scanf. You need the and sign. There we go. And return 0. Close the bracket. Okay, now let's look at how it will be printed out on the screen. Okay, hi, please enter a number. Hi, please enter a number. So what if the user enters 10? Let's say, okay, I'll use red for values entered by the user. 10. Then next, what the program will do is that it'll do this. The number is 10, right? Because once the user inputs 10 in here, this x will have the value of 10. Remember earlier I said about variables that it can be assigned, it can be, how do you say, scanned from user. This is the method of how you get variable values from user. The number is 10. Now what is this? What is this \n? Now if I were not to use \n, my whole program would just go in one line. \n means go to the next line. If let's say I'm not going to use \n, let me give you an example. Like, how are you? Are you good? Let's assume that these both are in printf. Now for me to get an output like this, I will need to use \n to create and think of it as like an enter key to come down to the next line over here. Now \n make things neater. \n can be used anywhere, only in printf, anywhere in between these two double inverted commas. Any of it. So right now you've learned the basics of printf and scanf. We'll do some engineering applications on the next video.